The orbital station Zenith 7 had strict rules about violence. With over 50 species living in close quarters, it had to. So when 3 Corthian thugs cornered David Shun in the lower market district and left him with a broken jaw and cracked ribs, station security logged it as minor altercation and moved on. They shouldn't have. David's bunkmate, Maya Rodriguez, found him in medical 3 hours later. She stood in the doorway, silent, watching the automed seal the fractures in his face. Her expression was calm. Too calm. Maya, David managed through swollen lips. Don't what? Her voice was flat. You know what? It's not worth it. Security won't. I know what security will and won't do. She turned to leave. Get some rest, David. He tried to call after her, but the painkillers pulled him under before he could form the words. If he'd been conscious, he might have stopped what came next. Probably not, though. Maya had already made her decision. The Corthians found her waiting in their usual spot, a maintenance corridor they used for conducting business. The leader, a scarred brute named Vextal, laughed when he saw her. Look, boys, the human's little girlfriend came to negotiate. Actually, Maya said, pulling something from her jacket, I came to demonstrate. What she held made all 3 Corthians freeze. It was a spine, curved, segmented, still dripping with viscous fluid. The distinctive purple coloring marked it as Corthian. That's Jextar's spine, one of them whispered. Jextar had been their 4th member. He'd been with them an hour ago. Maya corrected. Funny thing about Deathworlds. You learn to identify structural weaknesses. She ran her finger along the spine's length almost lovingly. Your species has this gap right here. She pointed to a specific segment between the 3rd and 4th vertebrae. No armor plating. Just soft tissue. If you hit it right, the whole thing just pops out. Vextal's confidence evaporated. You're bluffing. Humans can't. Can't what? Extract a spine with bare hands? Maya smiled without warmth. Earth has creatures called chimpanzees. Smaller than humans. They can rip your limbs off if they're angry enough. We're not the strongest species on our planet. We're just the smartest. She took a step forward. Want to know what the smartest predator on a death world can do when you hurt her friend? The Corthians backed up. One reached for a weapon. Maya moved first. She wasn't enhanced. Wasn't augmented. Just Earth-standard human with Earth-standard gravity training and a childhood spent in Sao Paulo's roughest districts. But on a station where most species evolved on worlds with half Earth's gravity, that was more than enough. The first Corthian went down when Maya drove the spine, their dead friend's spine, into the gap in his armor plating. Not fatal, just painful enough to make him wish it was. The second tried to run. She caught him by his dorsal ridge and slammed him into the bulkhead hard enough to dent the metal. His skull plating cracked. Vextal, the leader, stood frozen. The human girl in front of him was splattered with purple blood, holding a spine like a club, breathing hard but steady. Her eyes held no rage, no fury, just cold calculation. You broke my friend's jaw, she said quietly. That requires eating through a tube for 2 weeks. So here's what happens now. You 3 check into medical. You tell them you got into a fight with each other. You never look at David again. You never speak to him. You don't even think about him. And if we don't, Vextal managed. Maya held up the spine. Then I start a collection. Station security found 3 Corthians in medical an hour later, all claiming they'd fought amongst themselves. They found Jextar 2 corridors away, alive, but requiring extensive spinal reconstruction surgery. They also found a handwritten note pinned to his chest. He tripped. When questioned, Maya was in her quarters, reading. Clean clothes. No blood. Perfect alibi provided by 3 other humans who swore she'd been there all evening. The security officer, a veteran Valorian named Shixtar, reviewed the evidence and made a note in her file. Human female. Class, 12 Deathworld origin. Recommend against provocation. David recovered fully. The Corthians transferred to another station within the week, and Maya went back to her routine like nothing had happened. But in the lower markets, the word spread fast. The human girl with the quiet smile wasn't to be touched. And definitely don't touch her friends. Because on Earth, they had a saying, mess with the bull, get the horns. But Maya had taught them a new one. Mess with a human's friend, lose your spine.